The Big Idea Syllabus framework is inspired by Dr. Michael Wesch's pedagogies. In particular, this is inspired by his Big Idea Anthropology syllabus. The idea is to look beyond short-term objectives for any class and instead look toward the broader worldviews and goals of academic disciplines. I'm Dr. Andrew Joseph Pagoda, and what follows is my Big Idea English Studies syllabus. It offers 10 guiding points as to what is really important for students and scholars within the discipline of English studies. This includes composition studies, linguistics, rhetoric, and fiction. And now I present my Big Idea English Studies syllabus. All forms of life communicate in never-ending give-and-take processes. Homo sapiens and their ancient ancestors have always communicated with one another and with other forms of life. Current-day humans communicate through any number of compositions, including poetry, biography, wills, musical scores, text messages, and much more. When guided by curiosity, studying how humans communicate is not just interesting but vital if we are going to learn. Academic discourses such as crip studies, critical race theory, queer theory, rhetoric, and women's studies help decode and complicate artifacts of communication and each offer different and particular insights. The development of spoken and written languages represents one of the greatest accomplishments in world history, making sophisticated, archivable communication possible. Language is hard. The study of semiotics helps reveal how outstanding this feat really has been. Humans developed languages from various symbols that are grouped together and assigned sounds, all of which arbitrarily represent persons, places, things, ideas, qualities, and much more. Humans code switch and code mesh regularly too, which is to say they adjust how they communicate and combine different traditions of language depending upon the specific setting. Powerful people like to control and judge how people communicate. Rules that exist have various functions. Sometimes they allow communication to be possible, but other times they try to limit creativity or limit possible changes and challenges to how languages are practiced. Frequently, too, the rules of grammar or of professionalism, for instance, have the consequence of perpetuating privilege and oppression when non-majority accents or grammars and non-majority traditions are automatically deemed incorrect and inferior. There are ultimately no essentialist rules as to how Homo sapiens can or should communicate, and how they speak and write constantly changes. All languages are culturally and socially constructed. English, as practiced in the United States today, will be unintelligible in just a few hundred years. When reading and writing, communicating, whether informally or formally, knowingly or unknowingly, Homo sapiens are constantly pushing current limits and are changing and challenging the mores of how their languages are practiced. Because seeing and understanding, and reading and writing and speaking, language, life, are always in redevelopment, Homo sapiens must keep learning. Writing is rewriting, speaking is re-speaking, reading is rereading. Perfect communication does not exist. Informal instruction, such as through cultural productions, conversations with others, or other manifestations of the historical unconscious. Informal instruction, such as in history or science classes or dedicated composition classes, help guide people through this process. Such lifelong instruction allows for the possibility of the very best that can be produced and consumed at a given time and place. Language itself is powerful. Language controls us, determining what is even possible to think. We also control languages. In some way or another, all Homo sapiens are readers and writers. All forms of language want to accomplish something and are to explore ideas. And this something mirrors hopes and fears of the time and place in which it was produced. It's deeply historically embedded. This something also blurs all boundaries between fiction and non-fiction. There are a variety of ways in which Homo sapiens read text. Humans read books or films, as well as each other, the weather, or a room, for example, all of which are text. Consensus, stable interpretations, from the perspective of hermeneutics, do not exist. A second read will reveal not only details missed the first time, but brand new, never seen before in history information. And so, too, there is no limit to how Homo sapiens can take their ideas and communicate them, alphabetically or non-alphabetically. The most effective authors will use appropriate evidence, will ethically use rhetorical techniques to their advantage, will embrace critical thinking, will plan, will engage with others, and will accept that writing is a never-ending process. They might learn the rules and then adjust or break them to better communicate, or they might just start with breaking the rules. Humans communicate most effectively when they read and write regularly. Homo sapiens have an opportunity and a profound responsibility. They can help preserve languages and artifacts created across time and place, and they can create their own honest, high-quality text, for such allows us to appreciate and understand ourselves and others more effectively. The dead do not like to be forgotten. Language helps them live in perpetuity.